All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Deathlock Podcast. My name is Mike the Biz, and my co host today will be Mr. Mill Hustles himself. And welcome to our first stream of 2024. This is the Deathlock Podcast. For those of you who don't follow, I have a tech channel, but I also have a side channel that talks about wrestling, thus the Deathlock Podcast. I do the stream with Mill Hustles, and I also do it with Oh It's Tito and a few others to say the least, right? But welcome to 2024. Mill Hustles, how's it going?
You're a guest for today. I'm your usual.
Technically, yeah, you're my usual co-host for the day. Correct, as always. You're so smart.
I guess.
Well, anyways, we got a few topics to talk about, and I know you're limited on time today, so we're going to try to kind of just get through them as quickly as possible. Our headliner, though, at the beginning of this stream would be Seth Rollins and him possibly being injured. We know that he had a match on Monday Night Raw versus Jinder Mahal, a.k.a. Don't Hinder Jinder, if you know what I mean. So we don't really know the severity of his injury. So who knows? He might be expelled from competing at the Royal Rumble. Hopefully it won't be to the point where he's going to miss out until later on, maybe till WrestleMania possibly. That would kind of suck if that does happen, right? Or if he has to just drop the title completely. Hopefully that doesn't happen. What are your thoughts on that?
I hope that he gets taken care of and takes a nice long vacation.
Right. Yeah, I mean, he's been hustling it just like your username states, right? Since pre-COVID. I mean, he's been kind of the workhorse guy of WWE.
Look, like I don't wish injury on any wrestler.
Yeah.
I know I don't sound like the biggest proponent of Seth Rollins, but the guy needs to be repackaged at this point. Like, I can't miss you if you won't go away. Hopefully it's not anything serious, but the guys need some time off occasionally too. So hopefully he gets that taken care of. I want someone else to be champion, and this is just me with the fan talk. It's time for someone else to have that strap. I'm just saying.
Yeah, and I think I agree also, especially with that title being so new that, I think it needs to kind of jump from one person to the other. Not as quickly as it should, right? But I think Rollins has been champion for a good amount of time, since I want to say almost a full year, but not really. He's maybe going 9 months into that title reign.
They should make it the new 24/7 title.
Right. That would be kind of nice, right? But in any case, hold on, let's see if anyone's even chatting here. I don't even have the chat open over here, but yeah, I mean, again, I don't wish injury upon anybody as far as that goes. I think he deserves time off. I think it's just bad timing, right? Because again, the Royal Rumble is a couple weeks away. We're at the we're in WrestleMania season already, right? And for him to get injured right before, when the eyes are on the product as much as they are currently, I think WWE is getting so many views as far as the viewership numbers go, considering what it was a couple years ago, especially when Vinnie Mac was at the helm. Right now that we're in the Triple H / Endeavor era of WWE, we definitely have seen, I feel like I've seen a bigger viewership when it comes to Monday Night Raw. Raw has significantly gotten better, although the last couple of shows have been kind of but if they're able to get guys who haven't really been over the last couple of years, like Jinder Mahal, get over in just 1 or 2 episodes, then that says something about the show and the brand itself. Still with me? Still with me. Okay,
that's my comment.
Okay, so let's go. Okay, that's the typical Mill Hustles heelish comment here. So let's move forward. If you don't have any other comments, I'll go ahead and move on to the next point of topic, right? And we'll get back into that later. But we have some big players moving to different companies, right? So a couple months back, we know that there was several WWE talents that got released. Guys like Mustafa Ali, guys like Dolph Ziggler, female talent like Dana Brooke ended up getting released towards the end of the year last year. I think it was pre-SummerSlam, if I'm not correct on that. But anyway, so we saw a few debuts this past weekend at TNA's Hard to Kill. I didn't watch the pay-per-view personally, but I definitely, keep up with the news and the media on stuff like this. And of course, Nick Namath, Fika Dolph Ziggler made his debut in the company. Not just Impact or TNA though. He was also at a New Japan show a week or two ago as well. So he's been kind of making his name on, the I guess non WWE scene as far as that goes. Dana Brooke, aka I think she goes by Ash, something by Ash now. I think. Also made her TNA debut, which who knows if she's going to be doing any other type of indie promotions or anything like MLW. But so far, as of what we know, she will be competing in Impact, aka TNA. I don't know. The name is so confusing. I'm just gonna say TNA. I guess I was already getting used to calling it Impact Wrestling, right? Which I didn't have a problem with the name change, but anyways, I don't know. What are your thoughts on Nick Namath's debut, and will it, make a difference? Will we see more eyes on, that specific product?
I mean, based on what I've read, that they had a good gate, good attendance,
Yeah.
good pay-per-view buys.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a good thing. I mean,
Yeah.
TNA, I loved them their first like 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then, the years that Bobby Lashley, EC3, AJ Styles and them were there, they had a decent product. They tried. They actually tried to write a good show. And a lot of times the show, from a fan perspective, was better than Raw. Um, the sky's, I mean, this might be another chance for them. I mean, that company's 20 years old
Mm-hmm.
and they've gone up and down, more than the stock market before a crash. So,
Yeah.
hopefully, things work out. I mean, they're pretty good at, you know, maximizing talents,
Mm-hmm.
just like ECW did back in the day. So,
Yeah.
I have a lot of hope for them. Hopefully, they can, use Dolph Ziggler properly. Dana
Mm-hmm.
Brooke too. Dana Brooke has a lot of potential. They just kind of stifled her. So,
Yeah.
we'll
I
see.
agree.
I'm more curious to see who's going to go try there because there's a lot of free agency
Mm-hmm.
in all the companies coming up.
Yeah, no, and I agree. I'm kind of interested to see what they do as far as their characters go. I mean, for the most part, we kind of knew and learned who Dolph Ziggler was in WWE, and kind of towards the end, it was never really the wrestling portion of his side of the thing that was disappointing or anything. It was just kind of WWE's push and what they wanted to do with him over the last years. I would say since pre-COVID already, he was kind of already starting to be on jobber slash enhancement talent duty, whatever you want to call it, I guess. Which I think he did an excellent job of. Like if there's been numerous interviews where he's stated that not a lot of people complain about how he was in the ring, especially with other talents. I don't think he ever hurt anybody. I don't think he ever hurt him. Oh, I don't think he ever hurt himself. I don't know. I don't really recall hearing him being out due to injury or anything like that. He was a pretty safe wrestler as far as that goes. I think he had a good look also, in my opinion, right? I think they could have maybe did something. Obviously, we always say this, but they could have did something a little more to kind of give him that more veteran status appeal, kind of like what the Miz does every now and then, right? But I think with Dolph Ziggler, they just kind of stopped using him towards the end. Over the last year, and he would just show up to house shows and do his thing, right? I think they would just
I
kind
mean,
of
they
use
have
him there.
dropped the ball historically on a lot of
Hmm.
really good guys. They had
Yeah,
EC3 there, who made a name for
correct.
himself in TNA. They
Hmm.
had Damien. You remember Damien Sandow?
Yeah.
He got over
Hmm.
organically, and they dropped the
Yep.
ball on him. So, we'll see
Correct.
what happens, man. I just wish that he was able to keep
Mm.
the Dolph Ziggler name because it's more marketable. I
Yeah.
mean, he couldn't go with like Nick Ziggler or something like that, but that it is what it is.
Yeah, no, and I think I don't think, well, I don't really have an issue with him using his real name or anything like that. I think more wrestlers are doing that now just because, they don't want the company to profit off of, not using their real name, etc. like that. I mean, I know there's
How about
but
Dolph Gisler?
Dolph Gisler. How about
Or
Zolf?
change your name legally to Dolph or something. I don't know.
I
I'm
was
just
gonna
talking.
say Zolf Diggler. How about that? Zolf Diggler.
That sounds like a drug. Zolf.
I'm sure WWE would figure some way out to like sue him or whatever. But But anyways, hopefully, like you said, hopefully he can revitalize his career there. We've seen a lot of different, wrestlers do this over the past. Tag team wrestlers like the Dudleys, the Hardy Boys, people that would leave WWE and kind of just, kind of still
I
make
mean,
make a
look
name.
at
And
look at
I think that's
Gallows
what I
and
want to see.
Anderson.
Yeah,
They had decent careers, from a fan's perspective, not a business perspective. They don't draw money. I'm sorry.
yeah, they don't.
But they got booked well in TNA, in New
Hmm.
Japan, a few times in AEW,
Yeah,
but they always get the ball dropped them in WWE. They just don't know what to do with guys like that. And
yeah.
TNA historically has had a much better women's division than the WWE did. What the WWE
Hmm.
is catching up because of the girls that they got. So WCW did the cruiserweights better than the WWE did. TNA did the women better. Um, I've seen people that worked there that said that the girls used to draw more than the guys at times.
Hmm.
But yeah.
I believe
So
it. I mean, I definitely believe it. Like, again, I don't follow like TNA wrestling now to say anything else. Although I think now maybe if I can find the channel that they show it on, I might actually start peeping in on what is happening on the actual show, just to kind of familiarize myself with some of the talents. Because again, some of these talents, they end up leaving TNA, or and then they end up in either AEW or WWE, depending on who it is or how marketable they are. So I think I definitely I might have to show a greater interest when it comes to watching TNA. TNA.
I might have to check out
Tits and ass.
MLW. I know some
Yeah.
people that work there, so
Yeah.
they're supposed to go on a signing spree too because they got a big settlement from WWE over the block from 2BTV. So
Right. I don't even I know there's like some sort of like live channel that I get from like having like a Roku TV, and they show like reruns of Impact TV. I need to go and like
yeah,
watch
pretty
that.
much every free streaming service offers.
Yeah, they offer
It's
free
like
TNA.
it's the same channels. It's
Yeah.
just different names.
Yeah, so I think I have one set up on my Roku TV where it's just like I have it on that channel, so I should just go back and rewatch some of these old episodes or refamiliarize myself with some of these talents. That's the thing, though. I feel like some of these talents, they don't last long there either. They just kind of come and go. But
I
who
mean,
knows?
they had a lot of handshake deals. I
Yeah.
mean, TNA, I don't know the last time they were even profitable.
Hmm.
So, I'm not surprised. I wouldn't sign a
Yeah.
contract with them, to be honest, because I'm afraid I'm not going to get paid and I'm going to get laid off or some shit. So I would do
Hmm.
I do like a week, 2 weeks, few months, but no like years, unless the money was absolutely guaranteed, regardless of how the business was doing
Yeah.
for them,
True. True. All right. Well, let's go on to the next point of topic. Any other comments on TNA or Impact Wrestling?
Nope.
All right, let's go over one that might be a little controversial to some people, me not so much, but Chris Jericho's legacy ruined while his run in AEW.
Yeah, man. Have you seen with the shit he's been tweeting out?
I don't really pay attention to his social media or anything. I know
I mean, I
what
don't
has
either,
been.
but it's
Yeah,
like part of the news, and it seems like
yeah,
homeboy's having a midlife crisis. Like
yeah.
he's
Well,
slipping into irrelevance, and now
mhm.
he's just doing any kind of tactic in order to
He's starting
get
to become
attention. It's like, come
a
on, dude, you're a
a mini
legend,
Tony
dude.
Khan.
You're a legend. I'm a fan. And look, he's milking Tony for every penny he can get.
Yeah.
I know that he's on a long-term deal with Tony. He's going to get
Yep.
paid regardless. But it's like, come on,
Hmm.
dude, you're getting paid whether the company succeeds or not, which they've obviously shown. They're not like a professional company where if you just
Hmm.
don't draw, they let you go a lot of the times, or they put you as a jobber. But
Yeah.
he attacked Jim Cornette's lawyer
Hmm.
uh, with a verbal lashing on Christmas Day at 4 o'clock in the morning or something. Like, come on, dude,
Oh
where's
wow.
And then he got this accusation,
Yeah.
excuse me, hanging over his head, which I'm not
Hmm.
going to say what it is. If you are a wrestling fan, most
Yeah.
likely you heard about what the situation is. So it's like, dude, you got to pump your brakes, reevaluate things, and you know, uh, have this situation that accusation settled.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. And if you watched AEW this past Wednesday, which I probably don't think you did, but if you did, there was a backstage segment where they were interviewing Jericho, and they actually had to had to pipe down the I guess the audience noise or the mic in the audience, because they were not happy with that, and they were letting them have it basically. And yes,
Oh, I'm not
the
surprised. Wrestling fans these
yeah,
days are very, very hostile
yeah,
to people that have that kind of shit about them.
yeah,
You know,
and
and
it's a serious thing also. So
that's not the thing though.
mhm.
Like it could get to the point where they're like, look, you if you keep putting him on TV, we're not going to just switch the channel. We're just not going to watch the whole show.
Yeah, I mean
So
it's
they
getting
need,
to that point.
and and the cool people vote with their wallets, but at the same time, and I'm not trying to say I don't believe the accuser,
Hmm.
because I'm very sympathetic to people that have been through that,
Yeah.
because I know a lot of people that have, but
Hmm.
we gotta make he's already guilty in the court of public opinion. We got to go
Yeah.
back to when you had to be guilty in a court of law. But
Yeah.
that I'm getting political there. But yeah, I'm just saying
Yeah,
though, man.
it's true, right? And I mean, who knows? I mean, there really hasn't been a lot of tea as far as that information coming out since it did come out. Right now, we don't know if there's any type of investigations. I know they kind of questioned Tony Khan about it at the last pay-per-view event when it did happen, because it happened like maybe like a week or two before the last pay-per-view. That's when Samoa Joe became champion. It was that I don't even remember the fucking pay-per-view names. It was this one, and it happened in December though. But anyways,
And Tony Khan has a pattern of
mhm,
not answering legal questions.
yeah,
Something like this, I would absolutely just stick to my lawyer's advice.
yeah,
Because if he says the wrong thing,
oh yeah,
he could be admitting to guilt without knowing it, and yeah, that's never good.
yeah. And I mean, it is what it is, right? Until more things are said or whatever. But it's like I don't think that they should just, I think they should pull him off TV. I think they should just
Oh,
until
that's for sure. Tony Khan needs to
yeah,
just focus on owning his business.
yeah,
One thing he can do is step away from TV. That's the first thing,
hmm,
and put in the media scrums. Get a real authority figure. Second, give the damn book to somebody else, which we've been saying to nauseum since AEW started.
yeah.
You know?
Looks like we got Joys of the San Joaquin Valley on the chat. So yeah, Joy or Michael. That's his. I guess that's your other name or that you go by. But anyways, you are a mod on my BTech channel, but on my other channel, which is the Deathlock podcast, I don't have you set as a mod. So I would actually have to go back and switch the settings on that. So for now, I'm gonna leave it as is, just because. But yeah, once this channel gets more traction, then I'll get into the whole moderation ship. We don't have enough people chatting or talking like smack over here. No pun intended. No talking smack. For me to have moderation, or at least have somebody here to moderate the comments. So, anyways, any more comments on Mr. Chris Jericho before we move on to our next topic of conversation?
Nah.
All right, so we did talk a little bit about it, but Seth Rollins versus Jinder Mahal happened on Monday Night Raw, and over the last couple weeks, right? We saw Jinder Mahal kind of get into it with The Rock, and then the following week, him kind of again get into it with Seth Rollins, which led to a title match this past Monday. So, what are your comments and thoughts on Jinder Mahal as not just as a
Jinder
wrestler, but
Mahal
as yeah,
is an excellent talent. He can talk.
yeah,
He has a monstrous good look. He looks like a wrestler.
yeah,
But he's been so underutilized.
yeah,
If you think that he was going to beat Seth Rollins on Monday, it's like you might want to start taking your medications again.
Yeah, no, I definitely didn't think that he was going to beat Rollins on Monday, but I think WWE did a great job in at least making us believe that he was almost going to, which I thought if you watch the match, it was a short match. It was like an 8 or 9 minute match. I think they wasted a lot of time on the entrances. I think the match could have went a little bit longer. Which again, he was going in the ring. I was not disappointed in the match at all, considering it was really short. That was the only thing that I was kind of upset about. But I loved how he was getting that heel heat with his little tag team out there. The what do they call them? I'm just gonna call them the Indian boys because I think they go by Indish Sure or something like that. Indish Sure.
And
Uh,
Veer.
yeah, Veer, which they did so many vignettes on Veer. That it was just kind of like a running joke. Him and
Yeah,
oh
Veer
yeah,
could have been something. Veer, I thought
yeah,
Veer was he's another big menacing looking guy.
yeah. He has a good look. Also, he's a
I
big
think he
dude.
would make. Honestly, I think Veer
Yeah,
would make a good baby face.
I think that they are doing a good job as far as having gender kind of I guess manage those guys just because he has been at the top of the mountain in the company. And again, these are younger guys, big monster guys, because I wouldn't say they're not small guys, to say the least. They're big dudes. And who knows? I mean, I know it's a big market in the Indian market out there. So who knows when that time will come where Jinder is going to just pop out of his rabbit hole and wreak havoc against the WWE territory. But I've been enjoying the promos. I've been enjoying again, the vignettes, whatever you want to call it. Him in the ring, just seeing more of him. He gets such good heat from the crowd. It's like why not use him? Like he could be like the guy everybody hates on Monday Night Raw. Like I can only hate on the Miz and like so many other guys for like a long time, but this guy, he has a reason for people to hate him, at least in the United States territory, right? He's not from the country. He plays the role talking smack, against the U.S. It's perfect, honestly.
Yeah.
He's like the modern day, the modern day Maharaja, and the modern day Iron Sheik is what I was going for, though. As far as that goes, I think he can get that he's able to get that kind of heat, and like you said, he's got the look for it, and
Hey,
he's not the worst wrestler. So,
does HEB have a Maharaja?
well, if they did, yeah, that would be me right
Probably if
there.
the CEO has a son.
Oh gosh. Well, anyways, moving on. I guess I don't want to make this stream too long. Like you said, we're already at 22 minutes. So, you said PWI, aka Pro Wrestling Illustrated, has published its wrestling award winners for 2023, and as voted by the readers. And you did send me a list, so I don't know if this is like just like a top 10 or just like a top general in general. You want me to go ahead and read off that list though?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, or I thought you wanted to do that, so I was like, okay. But anyway, wrestler of the year was voted by the readers: Seth Rollins. Female wrestler of the year: Rhea Ripley. Faction of the year: The Judgment Day, which I wholeheartedly agree on. Tag team: FTR, which I kind of don't agree on that, but that's just my opinion. Match of the year, probably. I guess I watched this match. It was at WrestleMania last year, Rhea versus Charlotte Flair, which actually was a very good match. Um, Inspirational, which is Mark Briscoe, which his brother did die in a car accident last year. That anniversary actually happened recently, right? It was like yesterday or the day before, right? Um, so yeah, him, his kind of like comeback story, being a singles wrestler, having to kind of get away from that tag team identity. Now that his brother's gone, he for a little while his AEW stint, they had him going, and now he's more primarily in Ring of Honor, but they still bring him out every now and then on AEW just for like random matches. Comeback of the year, Trinity Fatu, aka Naomi, which we will probably be seeing come back to WWE in just a few short weeks. She just lost the TNA female championship, or the Knockouts title, to I don't remember the girl's name. Do you know the girl's name on that or no? Yeah. Anyways, either way, I have it at the top of my head, but I'm just kind of spacing out here. So again, I don't follow TNA, guys. Sorry. Like I'm gonna try to like at least learn the names of some of these talents so I can comment on it, because I feel like this can't just be a WWE only show, right, or an AEW only show, right? Unlike some other podcasters out there. JD from NY. Anyways, hey AJD from NY, you suck. Just kidding. I honestly generally enjoy watching this podcast from time to time, but sometimes it could just be very annoying. So, but I can't knock the guy's successful in what he does, whether people hate him or not. It is what it is. Anyways, moving on to the list here. Most improved LA Knight, which I think also probably I feel like he would be also in the comeback category as well, because he has been in the business for a long time, and to come from NXT to kind of drop the Max Dupree character and to get over as LA Knight within a year, and kind of go from nothing from the prior year to main eventing against Roman Reigns at a pay-per-view or a premium live event is pretty big. And I think he is one of the faces of SmackDown currently right now. Who knows if they're going to give him that a world title run anytime soon, but mid card wise, I think they can definitely use him in that US title hunt. Yeah, I don't know, would you agree or disagree there? Especially against scum like Logan Paul.
Well, here's the thing.
Scum.
AJ, we're talking AJ, right?
No, we're talking about LA Knight, not AJ Styles. Yeah.
I want to get to AJ real quick. Yeah, and he said it himself that he should get a mid-card title for starters.
Yeah,
I agree.
So again, hopefully, within the next couple months, maybe leading up to WrestleMania, we'll see that. Definitely I want to see him continue to have his success. The crowd definitely loves, chanting him and using all of his catchphrases. Yeah. Anyways, I just had to do that just to be annoying. Rookie of the year is Sol Ruka. I have no clue who that is. Is that a male or a female talent?
I have no idea.
I want to say it's a female talent because Ruka is feminine anyways, I don't know. Anyways, indie wrestler of the year, which I think this is probably the last couple of years already, Matt Cardona. So who knows? Maybe we might see a little bit of him at the Royal Rumble this year. His wife is still in WWE. And he has been saying that he does want to end his career like in a big stage. He doesn't want to just end it in the indies, right? Whether it be AEW or WWE or even TNA wrestling, you really haven't seen him go. He's been just kind of leading the indie scene and killing it. So there's that. Feud of the year, right? Which was Sami Zayn versus the Bloodline. That definitely was pouring over from 2022, right? But it was definitely. That feud was pretty much half the year itself, and I enjoyed it. It sucks to see Sammy separated from KO now, so who knows? He's been kind of out of the picture the last couple of weeks. They played off an injury, although I know he's been doing live events, so I don't know what's going to happen with him, but hopefully they bring him back before the Rumble, because he still is one of WWE's biggest top baby faces, probably the top 3 as far as baby faces go in the company. Let's see, most hated, which I think this is pretty on point. Dominic Mysterio, or Tom and Nick Mysterio, whichever you want to go by, I guess. Tom and Nick Mysterio. And we actually got some people in the chat here. We got Gene Giuliani. We got Borganta. Thanks again for joining in, guys. This isn't a tech chat, by the way. We are talking about wrestling. It's me and Mill Hustles here. So thanks again. Smash that like button. And again, if you guys haven't subscribed to the other channel already, the Death Lock podcast, please check that out. I'm simulcasting on both of those, so check that out. We got Borganta.
Simulcasting like the night the WWF bought Nitro.
Pretty much, yeah. Except I'm still the owner of both these companies, so it's all good. It is what it is. If we ever get monetized, though, which God, who knows how long that's going to take, right? I hope that
it won't take long. We just got to really put in the effort, and I honestly just don't have the time.
Yeah, it's understandable, right? And it's like that, for me, like I mean, I could do the show at least once or twice a week if I wanted to. It's not about the time for me. It's just also like getting the co-host, like, because I could literally just live stream by myself and talk about news by myself, which I've been thinking about doing. I don't know. What do you think about that, Muscles? From time to time.
Effort, but I'm sure you can.
Yeah, well, I've been thinking about it. I actually was.
I had thought about because I know you were going to give me access to the channel.
Yeah.
Like every time, like I was thinking, every time a big news story comes out, I just record a quick video and throw my thoughts up, and then you could do the same thing right behind it, or I could do it behind you.
Yeah. No, I mean, definitely throw like a response video in the same channel, or I mean, why the hell not, right? So yeah, we'll get into that. I'm gonna try because I tried giving access to Tito, but for whatever reason, he said he never got the email. So I'm gonna try looking into that again and see if I can get you guys access to at least like log in and be able to like stream on the channel. So, anyways, excuse me there. Those BK burgers are not settling well with my stomach. So who knows? Hopefully, I'm not sitting on the toilet later on. Let's go back to the list here. We're almost done with the list, and then we'll maybe close it out with a few other little things here. Uh, Most hated Dominic Mysterio, which again, that's pretty much on point. Most popular Cody Rhodes, which I can see to some degree. Yes, I think his injury from 2022 kind of hurt him a little bit. His momentum, obviously he went into WrestleMania last year as the ultimate babyface against Roman Reigns, and a lot of people didn't like that. He came in and won the Rumble, right? But they didn't like the build up leading to WrestleMania, which I think it still ended up good. The match was great. It was really a great match in my opinion. Um, the heat Roman got for winning, the absolute shock that Cody lost after all of everything that happened during the match, right? He put him through like what 2 or 3 crossroads. Reigns still kicked out, and then of course, all of the matches that Cody Rhodes had throughout the year with Brock Lesnar, meaningless matches, which I really don't know the point. They really didn't have anything for him, and he had a small tag team title run with Jey Uso, which that was just kind of weird. So they kind of finished the year off with Cody Rhodes kind of a little weird, getting a little bit of heat for bringing in Jey Uso to the Monday Night Raw as well. So I don't know. What are your thoughts on that as far as the Cody story goes, and is he going to finish the story?
I think he will. They need to capitalize on the momentum, and once he wins
Yeah.
the belt, wait a month or two. When they start booing him, turn him heel. It's the same thing with LA Knight. How long did I tell? For how long did I tell you that it's too soon to put him up against Roman?
Yeah, and
And I
I
think
mean,
that hurt him a little bit from a fan's perspective. It hurt him a little bit.
yeah, I don't know. In some ways, I think the WWE did do a good job and just kind of pushing it right, because a lot of people complain that they take too long sometimes to kind of hit that bat when the ball is hot, right. But at the same time, I think they could have maybe waited a little bit. Maybe that could have been the match like at the Rumble this year, maybe instead, right? Or maybe at that last event that they had last month. I don't even remember, but anyways, or actually no, was it Survivor Series? Survivor Series was the last PLE of the year, wasn't it?
Yeah,
They could have dragged it into Survivor
they didn't do
Series
a
at
day
least.
one like last year, but that was a Vince McMahon
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Roman, I know it's a 4-way match, and Roman doesn't have to be pinned, whatever.
Hmm.
He's been several of those matches since he's been undisputed Universal Champion.
Hmm.
I still think he's gonna win. We got to do a Royal Rumble prediction show
Oh
uh,
yeah.
before. I don't know when the Rumble is,
Ooh, it's
but
on. It's not this Saturday, but it's the next Saturday. So I'm off. I'm off the Friday before. I do work the Saturday of the Rumble. So anytime during the week, I think we can probably put something together. Although, I mean, I will be out. I get out of work like right before the Rumble starts, so I'm gonna like rush home and just turn on the TV and pick up a pizza and just enjoy the the pay-per-view itself. So, or the premium live event. So yeah, we can do a prediction on the male and the female and whatever matches are on the card. I mean, it's 2 weeks away. Really, I mean, they really haven't had any like big builds or announces for matches on the card. So
I mean
who
the thing
knows?
about it is that the Rumble name, the brand itself, is going
Yeah.
to sell itself. So
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, for sure. Like everyone's gonna watch no matter what. I'm excited about it. So we'll see how that goes. And again, going back to Cody's story, we'll see if he's able to finish the story this year. There's a lot of things happening right now in WWE. Like again, The Rock coming back at day one and shocking everyone, and giving his promo at the end saying what should he he's a little bit hungry. Where should he eat, right? And he's kind of trolling fans, right? This is something that I think probably should have happened last year, but they didn't run with it last year. So if Roman and Rock happens, a lot of people are going to be upset because I think a lot of people want Cody to dethrone Roman Reigns and not Seth Rollins. Even though there's technically like heat between Rollins and Cody in real life, like I think it would just mean more if Cody won, like, the belt off Roman. But now that The Rock is in the picture, who knows? A lot of people are kind of pissed off about that. What do you think about that? Where do you think that's going to lead? Do you think Roman's going to end up defending both nights at WrestleMania?
It could happen. I
Yeah.
believe that with all the star power there now, I think that the it, I find it very unlikely that he
Yeah.
makes it past WrestleMania as champion.
Uh-huh.
But but you also have to remember that they're looking for new TV rights deals for all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
I know SmackDown is locked in, but as a whole, they might keep him as champ a little longer, or they might make somebody like CM Punk champ.
Yeah, and now that you mentioned that, right, CM Punk is back as well, and he although he wants to finish his story, he also wants to continue his story as well. So we know that that's a big name going into the Rumble this year. Also, him and guys like Cody Rhodes, which I think him and Cody are going to have a talk off on Monday. We'll see how that goes. That's going to be interesting to watch. He's already had a few on-screen debates. He had one with Drew McIntyre about a week ago. He wasn't on Raw this past week, but I think they're kind of just slowly building the CM Punk rise as well, or fall, whatever you want to call it. I think I don't know. It's just interesting to see where the whole CM Punk thing has gone over the last year. Seeing his last match versus Samoa Joe at All In, which that was probably the only match I cared about watching at All In. All the other matches were crap to me. And now him being back in WWE, hell freezing over. And, again, him, saying that he wants to, win that championship again. I think realistically it would be make more sense for him to, again, continue feuding with Seth Rollins. I don't see him, duking it out with Roman Reigns. I mean, maybe he will, maybe he won't. I don't know. Imagine you see Reigns, Rock, CM Punk, and Cody, in a quad match. I think the WrestleMania match that I want to see is a triple threat match, though, and we've had those the past every 10 years. The last couple, obviously, Triple H, Benoit, and who was the other one? Michaels at WrestleMania 20, right? And then we had Bryan Danielson, or Daniel Bryan, Batista, and Randy Orton at WrestleMania 30, right? So WWE tends to put these pretty good triple threat matches together every 10 years. I'm thinking that might happen again. We might see again Roman versus The Rock versus Cody. I'm thinking but I think Cody does have to win the Rumble to get there, obviously, as far as him transitioning from Raw to SmackDown. And then, my thing on that is, okay, if CM Punk is going to do it, it's going to be against Rollins. So there's going to have to be something happening with the Elimination Chamber. Granted, again, if Rollins is healthy, right, who knows what's going to happen there. So there's just so many things that can happen, guys.
Yep.
Yeah. I hate to leave the female talent out of this, right? But we have Rhea Ripley, right? Which Rhea Ripley had a promo on Monday Night Raw, which led to Becky Lynch coming out. Becky Lynch saying that she thinks that Rhea is better than Becky, but she has to find out for herself. So I'm not sure where that's going to lead. I don't know if that's going to lead to a match at the Rumble, or maybe she's trying to get in at WrestleMania as well for a match at WrestleMania. So there's that championship, and then you have the women's championship, on SmackDown, which, Io Sky, who has probably the biggest female faction like ever from what I've seen, right? You have like five or six people in that group, with Bailey, Io Sky, obviously. You have Dakota Kai, you have Asuka, and then they brought back Kairi Sane. So that's a story in itself that's going to happen, right? My prediction on that is I think if Bailey doesn't win the Rumble, then it's going to lead up to Bailey eventually challenging for the women's championship against Io Sky. Like, something's going to happen, like, because everyone doesn't really have Bailey's back. Bailey has their back, but they don't have Bailey's back, if that makes any sense. So
Yeah,
absolutely. It's gonna turn into a kind of a big babyface turn for Bailey, and everyone loves Bailey as a babyface. Obviously, I liked her as a heel, though, right? But you never know. This could be kind of like a what do you call it? A prediction, not a prediction, but I don't know. It could lead to a lot of things. You know, it
A
could
spoiler.
a spoiler, right? It could lead to, you know, Sasha Banks coming back to the company, right? You know, kind of fooling us all, thinking that, hey, maybe she's going to go to AEW, you know, or no, maybe she's going to come back to WWE and you know, team up with her best friend, you know, at WrestleMania, something like that, to that extent. You know, I'm definitely excited to see. We did see pictures of her and Bailey floating around. They were at the TNA show to support, you know, their friend Naomi, aka Trinity Fatu. So who knows? There's just too much stuff going on, guys. I'm like, my brain is and we got 7 people in the chat here. Wow, we got 7 people watching. So shout out to all of you guys. Smash that like button.
I don't know what Manny.
All right, and
Whoa.
what else?
Oh, that was weird. That's it as far as what you sent me. As far as the topics go, I don't really have anything else. Again,
Well, we got like 4 minutes left. So, Okada, where do you think he ends up?
Okay, yeah. So this is news I broke to Mill Hustles before we actually started the live stream. So apparently, Kazuchika Okata. If you guys are not familiar with him, he is basically like the golden boy in Japan, right? He is their Roman Reigns, or, you know, Kenny Omega, or whatever you want to call him. Where he ends up, though, I'm not sure. He's not going to.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure Tony Khan is going to try to get him.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's going to end up in AEW again. From the little thing that I sent you earlier, his contract from New Japan expires January 31st. So I highly doubt he ends up at the Rumble. You know, I think, you know, him continuing to feud with Bryan Danielson in AEW would probably be more of something that makes more sense, especially when you have guys like Will Ospreay that have signed, you know, over there as well in AEW. People that he's familiar with. You know, I feel like he's more familiar with that. But, you know, there's a lot of Japanese talent in WWE that he can, you know, talk to and relate to. Also, you have again Nakamura. You have, you know, the female talent over there.
I mean,
you have
Tozawa,
you know,
for the hardcore fans. That would be a good pick. You know, that would be you know, it would generate some interest, but, you know, they know how to book him.
Yeah, I would be interested to see him in WWE, actually. You know, I mean, whether it be in an NXT level, you know, even though, you know, we know that, you know, in a wrestling perspective, he's way above like the NXT talent as far as wrestling goes. But, you know, different. It's different TV.
They'd probably still send him there.
Yeah.
To learn the WWE style.
Yeah, of course, and that's understandable.
I mean, like, I know there's been a few people that have been able to skip past NXT.
Yeah, you know, we've seen that happen in the past, right? But, you know, again, who knows if that does happen? Cool. If that doesn't, well, you know, I don't think it would hurt him that badly. You know, maybe send him to the PC. Maybe he doesn't have to go through NXT, right? But send him to the PC for like at least a good 6 months. You know, get used to how, you know, they work in WWE, because obviously, right, you know, the style in Japan is a lot different. So I'm interested to see, you know, AEW. Obviously, you know, you already know there's going to be some key matchups that they have lined up for him already there, right? And he's already done like 1 or 2 matches with AEW, so he's familiar with that product. So we'll see. I don't know. You know, TK's a big New Japan mark, so
yeah.
Yeah. Was there anything else you wanted to add? I'm trying to think of something else, but I'm like kind of blanking out. I think that might be it for today's episode of the Deathlog podcast, though.
Yeah, I got nothing else, bro.
Go get your BK tacos. Okay, let me think. Let me see. I want to try to mention one more thing before we go. You know, not people that I really would want to mention on the podcast, right? But the All Elotes, I mean the old Bucks, or I mean Matt and Nick Jackson, Fika the Young Bucks, if you know what I mean. They are going to wrestle Sting in his last match, which I'm just not 100% wanting to see. I really wish Sting would not go that route. And apparently it was his idea as well. I don't know. I guess they're going to start to become legend killers, I guess, because that interview that they had on Wednesday night, you know, where they basically said, oh, that they're going to take their job as EVPs more seriously, and they're going to get rid of guys like, you know, Sting, people that have, you know, been in the business forever, yada yada yada. it's just kind of like, to me, it's just like a wannabe, like, oh, we're gonna just pretend to be Randy Orton and be the legend killer of AEW, basically. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if you got to see that promo, or if you have any thoughts or comments on the All Elotes over there.
Nah,
Yeah,
nah, nothing
right.
nice.
Nothing nice. Yeah, so we'll see. I mean, I think a lot of people did appreciate that. People wanted to see something different from the old Bucks. And me personally, like, again, I don't, as far as the wrestling goes, I don't really care. Maybe if I can see some sort of character development, I always like to give people a chance when it comes to stuff like this, right? So even though I haven't been a fan of them leading up from Ring of Honor to New Japan and now in AEW, really, because I really haven't seen anything to tell me otherwise that these guys are like top tier talents, other than the fact that they can do a million super kicks and spot fest matches where they get hurt half the time and they hurt people, or they get involved in hurting people half the time, right? It just really hasn't been anything to gawk at for me. So again, that's just my opinion, though. So people don't knock on me too hard. If you're a Young Bucks fan, sorry, sorry, that's just my personal opinion, and I'm sticking to it. I definitely, I respect what they do for the business and what they do in the ring as a whole, though. So there you go. There's that. But again, I'm not looking forward to seeing that match. I really don't care to see Sting versus. I really wish Sting would have just did a solo match rather than a tag match. Especially, I mean, not to knock on Darby Allin or anything, but I just would have rather prefer to see him like just get like a title match, like just give Sting a freaking world title match, have him lose to Samoa Joe, but have like a fucking badass match, and then just have everybody clap for him at the end of it, and say thank you Sting, or whatever, and just send him off into his Comic-Con signing days, I guess. I mean, he does that now, but you know what I mean. Wow, we got Latrizzle in the house. What is going on over here? He says came from one tech channel talking about sports to another tech channel talking about sports. LOL. Yeah, Seth Rollins might be hurt, so just a heads up on that. He did possibly get injured in the match versus Jinder Mahal on Monday Night Raw. We don't know the severity of it. I did remember reading that he was going to get some MRIs done or something like that. So, I mean, who knows? Hopefully, it's not to the point where he will not be able to defend the title at WrestleMania. I would hate to see that, but if for whatever reason, if let's say Seth is injured to the point where he will not be able to wrestle for like 6 to 8 months, I think the right thing for WWE to do would be to drop the title, have him, forfeit the title, obviously, and have that Royal Rumble match. Whoever wins the men's Rumble match become that champion of that brand, right? So yeah, what are your thoughts on that, Mill Hustles? Before we go here,
I mean, if he can walk, tape him up and have him drop the belt.
Yeah.
That's
I
it.
mean, if it's not to the extent where like Cody had that torn pectoral muscle, but yet it wasn't bad to the point where they said, oh, you can still technically wrestle, you're not going to make the injury worse, right? Where he still went out and he still went and wrestled for like in a Hell in a Cell match for that to happen. But Latrell says, who's going to take it? Who's going to take the title? I don't know. A lot of people are speculating that it could be CM Punk, if that's the case, right? But there's going to be a lot of heavy hitters in the Rumble this year. We're going to have Gunther, we're going to have CM Punk, we're going to have Drew McIntyre, we're going to have Cody Rhodes in the Rumble, to say the least. So, okay, I think Mill Hustles got off. I don't know if he got kicked off or his phone died, but if you're not coming back, Mill Hustles, I appreciate you and thank you for joining in on the stream itself. Definitely appreciate you being here. Wow, it's already 9:30 over here. Damn, we got 7 people in the chat. I want to see how many people are in the Deathlock podcast chat right now. Hold on, let's see. So if you guys are not subscribed to the Deathlock podcast channel, I would suggest you go check that channel out. I'm actually going to post the link to that channel there so we can actually check that out. So hopefully, let's see. I can view my channel. There we go. I'm going to view the channel. So that way we can get more subscribers. We're sitting at 28 subscribers, and I want it to pop to 29 tonight. So let's see. I'm going to share that link in this chat. Let me just... There you go. Okay, hold on. Let me go ahead and share the link. So if you guys are watching on the B-Tech channel, if you can swap over to the Deathlock podcast channel, and hit that subscribe button. I would really appreciate it. I went ahead and put it in the chat already, so thank you guys for checking that out. It looks like Mill did get off. I'm not sure. Maybe he'll send me a text later. Maybe he won't. But yeah, please check out the Deathlock podcast channel. I would really appreciate it. You guys can click the link. Yeah, CM Punk has been back. I'm not sure where that's going. And now that we have Jinder Mahal back in the picture, if you guys have been watching the past couple of weeks, Jinder Mahal has actually been kind of a pretty solid threat to Seth Rollins' title. Pretty decent match on Monday. Gene is saying CM Punk should not have come back. I'm not wearing my Punk shirt. I'm not wearing my Punk shirt tonight to argue that, I guess. But we all have our own. We all have our own personal opinion when it comes to that. Me personally, I think CM Punk being back is good for the business, whether it be in AEW or WWE. Already for like the last month and a half that he's been there, he was the top merch seller in T-shirts, right? He above everybody else. The guy just came back and he's already beating out guys like Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar and Seth Rollins, etc. People who have already been there. So I don't think it's necessarily bad. I think it's great for the company. I think it's great for business. Let's see. You may be able to listen to the Rumble on your phone on the way home instead of listening to the radio. Well, I get out of work at 6 o'clock. And as long as the Rumble starts at 7 o'clock, which I believe the Rumble is still only a 3 or 4. Usually the big 4 pay-per-views are 4-hour events. They usually, I remember last year, I think it was a 4-hour event. I believe it started at 7, and I remember not getting out of the arena till like almost 11 o'clock at nighttime. So it did kind of drag on a little bit. It was like 3.5 hours, 3.5 hour, 4-hour show. And it was pretty long. So we'll see how it goes this year. Roman has held the title for a long time. Yes, I think he's closing in on 1,300 days already. I believe he might be inclined to beat Hogan's run of like 1,400 days, I believe, as champion. Hogan's run was a pretty long time. I think Hogan was like champion for like 4 or 5 years. So if we go into the fall of 2024, that would be 4 years that Roman Reigns has held the Universal Championship. Now, a lot of people will argue that, he's only been WWE, champion for like only a year, right? So the Universal title and the WWE Championship, now that they're unified, I guess you can consider it just one title for a legacy, but they're gonna probably use that and just say, hey, that's the record, because eventually it merged into the WWE Championship. So, no, he's had the title since 2019, from what I remember. Is it 2020 or 2019? Okay, maybe it was fall of 2020. Yeah, you're right. I think he came back late 2019 because he came back from his leukemia scare, and then McIntyre won WrestleMania. Obviously, I think he won the title off Bray Wyatt, if I'm not correct. It was either him or Braun Strowman that Reigns won the Universal title off of, but he hasn't been pinned in a singles match since then, so that says a lot. So, I mean, who knows where that's going to go going forward. We'll see what happens at WrestleMania. Again, me and Mill, we have our predictions. I think most likely what's going to happen is, it's going to be Cody, The Rock, and Roman at WrestleMania, and I hope that Cody walks away with the championship. It's not a title that that The Rock really needs. Rock doesn't need to win the championship to kind of solidify his career. His career is done and set in stone. But I think we all know that Cody needs to solidify his title, his like himself as a main event guy. And even though he's been in like main event matches, he's never won the big one, just like his dad. And neither. So the most iconic thing about this is his brother, also Dustin Rhodes, or Dustin, aka Goldust. He's never won the world title either. He's been multi-time tag champion, multi-time intercontinental champion. I don't know. I don't think he was ever a United States champion. Maybe in WCW. I don't know if he was a U.S. title in WWE. But he's been here and there, mid card guy for the most part, but he's never held the big one. So Cody also, if you think about it, he's been wrestling since he was in his early 20s. He got out of high school. He went to a little bit of college. I think he went to acting school actually. Didn't work out for him, but I think he decided to get into wrestling, and went went the old school route. He went into like a promotion like OVW, did his due diligence, got into the WWE when he did. He's been doing it for a long time, guys. He hasn't really stopped. He left WWE, he did the indies. He was the IC champion, he was tag team champion in WWE prior. Then he did his indie stint where he was, Ring of Honor champion. I think he held some sort of New Japan championship. I'm not 100% sure on that. And then he helped start AEW, right? Him with the the help of guys like the All Elotes or the Young Bucks, whatever you want to call them. Kenny Omega, Chris Jericho, guys like that. They started the company. He surprisingly didn't last only a couple of years in that company, and he decided to not renew his contract, and he left, and he decided to come back to WWE, where that's his roots, that's his home. So let's see. Latrell says, I remember how off it felt not hearing the reactions. Oh yeah, back then when they had I guess just like the screen of people watching. Yeah, I think actually the reason why they started doing like the fake reactions is because I think Bailey, I think it was one of the female talent, she's like, why don't you guys pump in like fake crowd noise, like, and then that just worked. When they were in that when they were doing the Thunderdome or whatever they called it back in the day, where they were set up like in a small arena, but it still looked pretty cool. You still had people's faces in the crowd, right? People watching from home. I thought that was pretty cool. And then they finally just decided to add in, fake crowd noises back when, the world was shut down and, we were all trying to stay safe. I think that was definitely a lot different back then, but, to see what it has come back to now, having, these global events, arena events in, other countries now, I think it's crazy. I think WWE on this scale, we haven't seen it like this in a long time. They really have kept themselves out of other territories. Now that AEW is around and AEW has been kind of tweaking around with international play, I think WWE is going to try to one up them on that as well. They're going to several countries this year. They're going to France. They're going to Australia. They're going to I believe I think they're going back to England again. For another premium live event. So I think, we're going to see a lot of that going forward, especially on smaller scale pay-per-views, maybe not the big four. I think the big four are going to stay here in the States. I don't think we're going to see a big four pay-per-view outside of the States, at least not I feel like not within a couple of years, at least. Who knows? I mean, they have the Crown Jewel events in Saudi Arabia, but those are not really like, those are not marketed for the US people. They're marketed for the people that live over there. And they pay WWE a pretty big chunk of money to go out there and do their thing. So, but anyways, I don't know. Wow. This chat has been kind of wholesome tonight, guys. Let's see. Mill Hustle's never responded. Anyways, let's see. AEW in Australia. No, WWE is going to Australia. I believe they're going to have an event later on this coming year. So let's see. AEW in Australia. I don't know about that. I can't see that working out. No, for now, I think they're going to probably stick to Canada and shows in England or the United Kingdom, whatever. I think his dad has a stake in Wembley Stadium. That's why. If I'm not correct, I'm hearing that he does own Wembley, that they own like Wembley Stadium, so that's why it's so cheap for them to like rent out the stadium for when they're doing All In. And who knows? I mean, I've heard they've been having a lot of I guess stuff going on with Mexican talent with AAA. So who knows if they might decide to maybe try to get into having shows in Mexico as well. Right now, of course, TNA has announced partnership with AAA, so who knows? We might see TNA do more big things with that and with some of the the AAA guys. So, but anyways, guys, we've already been live streaming for about an hour now. I was already live streaming with Magic Tech prior to this. If you guys were on his channel, we were live streaming for about 30 minutes. So I've been live streaming for about the last hour and a half. So I'm already a little tired, but I want to thank you all for being here. And again, smash that like button before you guys get off. I would really appreciate that. Subscribe to the Deathlog podcast if you haven't, right? Again, the link should be there in the chat, so go check out that link if you haven't. I'll post it again here. so that you guys can check that out. And again, I appreciate you guys being here. Thanks again. Me and Mill Hustles will be back pre-Royal Rumble to check out, have predictions for the Royal Rumble. So y'all have a great night. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you guys next.